Good evening, people out there in the digital world. YouTube and all the other places that people check out videos, just watch random people talk about random bullshit. Tonight's not going to be random bullshit. I say tonight, but in fact, it's like 1 a.m. in the morning here in Colorado. I don't even know what to talk about, honestly, guys. I mean, there's so many issues I could cover, so many things I could give my opinion on. I guess the main thing I want to talk with you guys about tonight and supply chain. That's the big thing. Everybody worries about supply chain issues, getting stuff into the country. And I understand that. It is a big issue. It's a very big issue. We can't seem to get anything into this country anymore. Trade is just kind of shut down. But I think the biggest issue is not getting stuff into the country. Honestly, our biggest problem is, trade within the country itself. Fuel prices for standard gasoline are anywhere from $3.99 at the cheapest to $6, $7 in some parts of the country. Diesel is at least $1, and a half more. So you're looking at, $5.50, anywhere up to $8 a gallon for diesel. Now, if you guys know anything about the supply chain and logistics here in the United States, it all runs on diesel. Every last bit of it runs on diesel fuel. Diesel fuel at $5.50 to upwards of $8 a gallon is not good. Our country's going to shut down. Plain and simple. It is going to shut down. I don't speak from somebody outside the business. I don't speak from somebody that has no clue about the transportation and logistics industry. I myself have done several logistic jobs, working with shippers of various kinds, whether it's FedEx, UPS, USPS, DHL, upwards to big trucking companies, Prime, Arrow, which is no longer around if I remember correctly. Just a bunch of companies that I've worked with personally. On top of that, I have a relative who's been in the business for a very long time. Knows the ins and outs, has worked as an owner-op, as well as worked for some larger companies. And a lot of the information I've gained from him tells me we need to be very, very worried. Not about what's coming from overseas or, the stuff we can't seem to get in. The basics, guys. Food. If diesel is so expensive, how are we going to get food? How is the driver that is driving from the West Coast going to get down to Florida or over to Boston or any place in between to drop and pick up loads if he ain't got the fuel? If his company can't afford the diesel that it takes for him to drive? Most of our trains, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, they run on diesel fuel. Trains provide a lot of cargo movement. No diesel fuel, it ain't going anywhere. It's going to sit in the yard for months on end, years on end. If it's food, it'll go bad. What are we going to do then? Do you all have enough food to last for years? Think about it. I mean, really, really, really think about it, what is going to happen to you and your family when the gasoline stops flowing because nobody can afford it? Because the companies that produce it can't afford to produce it. And then because they can't afford to produce it, they stop. There goes jobs. You know? There goes more people that can't make a living, that are stuck. Big time stuck. What do we do then? Do we sit and hope and pray that our government is going to pull their head out of their ass long enough to fix the problem? We can't depend on that. None of us can. These last 20 years have shown us that. You know, everybody wants to talk about, and I'm not going to dive too far into politics because I'm not a politician. I'm not somebody that likes to talk about politics. But things right now in this country have not just been the last couple years, the last 6 years, the last 8 years. It goes way back, guys. Way back. For my generation, it kind of started with, Bush Jr., I guess you could say. Maybe even Clinton, if we want to go that far back. Older generations had to deal with other presidents and other politicians and people in power that just have no fucking clue. None. They don't understand what the working man like me and you have to deal with. The stresses that we are under on a constant basis. How do we provide for our families? How do I keep our children fed? Keep clothes on their back? Keep them happy? Everybody wants to worry about the adults. It's not about the adults. It's about the kids. What are we going to do when we can't afford to feed our kids? Personally, I've got some food stock, but not near enough. I got a few months, 6 at most, put away to keep my family going. After that 6 months is up, I don't know. I don't live on a farm. I don't live in a big house. Hell, I live in an apartment. Just over 700 square foot apartment on a second floor. I don't have a patio. I don't know what I'm going to do when that food runs out. But I know right now, I'll do all I can. And for me, that means continuing to stock up on food. To find places to hide food and necessities. Water, too. Gotta have water. Can't go without that. A lot of preppers and preparedness-minded individuals. A lot of these guys here on YouTube already have land, or already have homesteads or houses. None of them really cover how to do it when you just can't afford that. Where I live here in Colorado, to buy a house, you're looking at $500,000. $500,000. And that's not even for like a big 2,000 square foot 4-bed. That's just for a, 2-bed, 2-bath, maybe 1,200 square foot house on less than an acre of land. $500,000, guys. Been here 3 years. Been here in Colorado 3 years. And I've watched prices skyrocket on houses. And I lived in Florida for a better part of my teenage years. I lived down there when the housing market was booming. My parents had a house in Florida. We bought it. It was probably less than 125,000. It might have been right around that range. You know, it was a great house. House like that this day and age, you couldn't get for less than probably $600K up here. $600,000. That's a lot of fucking money for a house, guys. I mean, we're talking, you got to be making six figures to afford something like that. It's insane. You know, everything's on the rise. Gas prices, obviously, we talked about that a little bit. But still, the bigger issue is the supply chain. What the hell are we going to do? I'm already seeing shortages in my local grocery store. Hell, in my local convenience store, guys. My local 7-Eleven down the road, shelves are empty. A 7-Eleven. I don't know, man. It's crazy the way things are getting. The only time I've ever seen shelves empty like this is during major weather events. You know, here in Colorado, blizzards. We got a major blizzard coming in. Okay, everybody rushes to the grocery store and cleans it out. Okay, trying to survive in case we're stuck for a few days. Got it. You know, living in Oklahoma, major tornadoes are flooding. Okay, well, you know, we gotta fucking hunker down and go for it. Okay. Living in Florida, hurricanes. Let's board up all the windows and stay inside for a while. Let's see if we lose power. You know? But here, now, it ain't even weather. It's a storm, for sure. But I don't think we can weather this one, guys. If things don't get fixed soon, we're all in for a world of hurt. And that's from the very top elitist all the way down to the poorest man in the world. And that's the thing is, I ain't just talking about the United States, honestly. This is a world over. You know, this whole thing in Eastern Europe is causing a lot of problems. A lot of problems. You know, they call Ukraine the breadbasket of the world. I didn't know that till recently, honestly. Didn't know how much food they put out for the world in general. It's a lot. And now it's a war-torn country. Not just part of it, all of it. And now our government wants to throw our hat in the ring over there. That's an issue. It's a big issue. We want to control what's not ours. Ukraine ain't us. It's not the United States of Ukraine. It's not the Ukrainian States of America. It's the United States of America. 50 states and territories. Ukraine is not a territory. They're not even an ally. But we still want to go over there and play in their little sand pots. It ain't right. I mean, we just got out of a war. It's 20 years. A lot of people lost people over there. And now our government wants to get us involved in another one? It just ain't right. None of it. And I ain't blaming one person. It's not, the big man on top. It ain't just him. It's all the little cronies down below, too. All the way down to the lowliest politician. It's all of it. It's the government in general. It's all a game to them. They have money. They have means. Don't care about the rest of us. War is always about sending the poor to fight. Send our citizens to die for us because we're too afraid to do it ourselves. It's horrendous, guys. What's it gonna take? What is your line in the sand? When are you gonna realize that this just ain't right? Me and my wife Lisa, we've seen it a lot. And unfortunately, we can't do nothing about it. She's not able-bodied, even though she thinks she is. And, my own health is what it is. But you can bet if it come down to it, I'd do what I had to. Take care of my family and to protect them. But even I find myself wondering, what's my line in the sand? When am I going to finally snap and decide that enough is enough? That I can't deal with it anymore? And I don't know. I don't know what it is. Hell, for all I know, I could already drew my line in the sand and they may have already crossed it. And I'm just running off at the mouth for no reason. We have a saying down south. Sometimes people just run their fucking gator. I don't know. I really don't know. Not anymore. Used to be sure on a lot of things. Used to have a path in place for myself and my family, where we wanted to be, what we wanted to do, and where we wanted to go. But the way things are now these days, guys, I can't tell you. I don't know what I want to do or what I'm gonna do. On days I get so pissed off at everything going on around me that I just want to lose control. But I can't. I get up, go to work Monday through Friday, come home, spend time with the wife and kid as best as I can. And I do the other things, the college work that I got. Because I'm a college student. And a dad. And a husband. And I'm working stiff like most of you out there. But to be honest, I don't know how much longer I can do all of it. I gotta figure something out. I gotta figure some way to keep my family safe. Keep us prosperous in these times that are coming. And it ain't about religion. Religion has nothing to do with it. It's not what it's about, guys. Some people, if you're Christian, you see this as the end times. The book of Revelation coming to pass. And that's fine. That's your view. That's great. If you're more pagan and you follow the Norse side of things, you may see this as the beginning of Ragnarok. And maybe it is. Me personally, I do follow the Norse pagan ways. But I see this as a great change coming. And if none of us are prepared for it, we're not going to survive it. And that's the thing. Prepare. Gather what you can. Get yourself together. Get your family together. And it doesn't matter if you're living in an apartment or you're living in a big house on 30 acres of land, or you're living in a mobile home in a mobile home park, or you live in suburbia with your neighbors right next door. Just get ready, guys. That's what this channel is about. Just showing you how to get ready even when you don't have much. And we don't. Just prepare. And make sure your family's prepared. Learn what skills you can. If you don't know how to sew, learn how to sew. It's a skill you can learn to sew flesh. It may not look pretty, but if you can sew flesh together and it stops the bleeding, hey, you're doing good. Also helps you if you got to sew your clothes back together or sew shoes back together. Just prepare. Be ready for whatever comes, because it's going to get ugly before it gets better. Leave me a like, make your comments, say what you got to say, good, bad, or ugly. This channel is about saying what you need to say, and hopefully you guys enjoy our videos, what few we put up. Try and do more, but life kind of gets in the way. You all have a good night. This is VB Prepping, signing off.